Hey there, welcome back into Occupy Democrats, and in this breaking story, we have officially reached the precipice of defiance for democracy. And no, I am not discussing ICE or Kristi Noem. I'm discussing the fact that Donald J. Trump has spent his first term and the 4 years in between with Biden setting everybody up for what he's about to do in defiance of Congress and the Supreme Court when it comes to staying in power. I'm going to show that story to you in just a few seconds. But geez, let's be reminded who the real bad guys are when it comes to clean and fair elections in this country, because Trump still whines about 2020.
Quote, the election was, in all caps, rigged. That is the quintessence of Trump, the idea that voter fraud is rampant in America and it cost him the election. And he's still pushing that lie over 2 years after the presidential election that he very clearly lost.
And he won't stop banging on about voter ID. Here.
You ought to have voter ID. You ought to insist on it. In California, they not only don't have voter ID, but if an official at the voting booth even asks somebody for voter ID, do you come from our country? They put him in jail.
Then again, who really cheats?
Watch as MAGA loudmouth Randy Fine illegally casts votes for other members of the Florida House of Reps. This is the same guy preaching to us about election integrity when he can't even follow the rules himself. He clearly looks around to make sure no one is watching, then rolls around to hastily press each vote button.
And Trump loves to talk about voter ID, but clearly he never does this because you don't need an ID to buy groceries or get gas, Donald.
All we want is voter ID. You go to a grocery store, you have to give ID. You go to a gas station, you give ID. But for voting, they want no voter ID. That's only for one reason, because they cheat. We would pass that in 15 minutes.
And then there's the BS SAVE Act.
I know why they want to bring this bill to the floor. They are worried they won't win in November without pushing conspiracy theories. They've done studies. Even conservative institutes say there is no evidence that non-citizens voted illegally in large enough numbers to shift the outcome of any election. We all know what this is about. I mean, do Republicans really want to talk about the threat of voter fraud?
But in the end, who actually gets indicted for election tampering?
Right now, we're learning more about the fake electors case, where 11 Arizonans were indicted in connection to the 2020 election.
So who are the 11 people indicted?
The only ones committing voter fraud in an attempt to overthrow an election are Republicans.
Only Republicans. These folks.
Tyler Boyer works for Turning Point USA. He's also a Republican National Committeeman. Jake Hoffman and Anthony Kern are both sitting Arizona senators. Jim Lehman is a businessman who lost his bid for U.S. Senate in 2022. Robert Montgomery is the former head of the Cochise County Republican Party.
But in this breaking story, Trump just told you once again that he is going to defy Congress and the Supreme Court. And he's going to do it just like he did with Venezuela, like he set up all along. He is not going to listen to co-equal branches of the government or anybody else. He's just going to be a bull in the china shop, and this is how he's going to try and hang on to power in the midterms. Check this breaking story out.
Trump vows to defy Congress if voting laws unchanged for midterms and uncorks wild Supreme Court warning in Truth Social meltdown. President Donald Trump escalated his attacks on voting laws Friday with a rambling Truth Social post that appeared to put the Supreme Court on notice, warning justices of the dire consequences if Democrats ever regain power. In the lengthy post, Trump claimed that Democrats are engaged in a scam to allow elections without voter identification and insisted he would bypass Congress through executive action if legislation fails. President Donald Trump argued Friday that he would push to change voter ID laws ahead of the midterm elections, regardless of congressional approval. But Trump saved his sharpest language for the Supreme Court itself as he uncorked wild Supreme Court warning in Truth Social meltdown. I hope the Supreme Court realizes, as they painstakingly review the very simple topic of country-saving tariffs, those same tariffs that have been used by other countries against the USA to drain it of its treasure and security for many years, and all sorts of other things that are making our country rich, powerful, and safe again, that these corrupt and deranged Democrats, if they ever gain power, will not only be adding 2 states to our roster of 50 with all of the baggage there too, but will also pack the court with a total of 21 Supreme Court justices, their dream, the president wrote Friday. Friday. Trump has long threatened that elections should have stricter voter ID laws. He has said that such measures are necessary to prevent voter fraud and ensure election integrity, despite widespread evidence showing that voter fraud is extremely rare in U.S. elections. His push for voter ID requirements and other voting restrictions has become a central issue in midterm campaigns, with Republicans generally supporting such measures, while Democrats argue they disproportionately suppress voter turnout among minority communities and other key Democratic constituencies. Trump wrote the following on his Truth Social platform: "The Democrats refuse to vote for voter ID or citizenship. The reason is very simple. They want to continue to cheat in elections. This was not what our founders desired. I have searched the depths of legal arguments not yet articulated or vetted on this subject and will be presenting an irrefutable one in the very near future. There will be voter ID for the midterm elections, whether approved by Congress or not. Also, the people of our country are insisting on citizenship and no mail-in ballots, with exceptions for military, disability, illness, or travel." Trump went on to claim that Democratic leaders would accomplish this by immediately terminating the filibuster, probably in their first week or sooner. "Our country will never be the same if they allow these demented and evil people to knowingly and happily destroy it," he added, comparing voter ID opposition to men playing women's sports, open borders, and transgender for everyone, while calling Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer and House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries crooked losers. Trump ended the post by signing off, "Save America."
This is where the rubber's going to meet the road, folks. Yes, he has done so many things, violated so many laws, the Constitution, etc., from 2016 to now. It is absurd. But when it's all said and done, our elections and being able to have a peaceful transfer of power and or count on them, they've never been in doubt. He's just created it, and he's going to continue to do so all the way through November. So you brace yourselves now, because he isn't going to stop. And the only people who can stop him are the people in his own party. You guys like and share the video. Have a good weekend. Stay frosty.